so far. Let's get some analysis on this. Johnson Nderi is the manager in charge of corporate finance and advisory at ABC Capital, is live in studio with us tonight for a bit more analysis on the matter. Johnson, thank you so much for your time this evening. Let's pick up where those charts left off. What exactly is the net worth of Rea Vipingo, given, of course, the figures that we're seeing and the bids, but we're looking at the key assets and liabilities on its balance sheet here. What's the real value of this company?
I don't think you realize how tough that question is. Because depending on who's investing in it, you'll have very different numbers. For example, financial investors in the Nairobi Stock Exchange will buy it at what the average other financial investor will buy it at. However, the story changes when it comes to a strategic investor who has certain. I mean, he's got the capacity to squeeze out more value than he can see. Now, as you've just put out on the in the slideshow you had earlier on, it depends. I mean, you've seen that everybody there has got probably muscle to do one thing or another with the company, and this is what the strategic investor does. And on that basis, then perhaps the best person to value is the person with the highest bid. And so we'll sit and wait to see if there's another bid coming through.
Indeed. We have seen other take-private offers on the NSE, Dimension Data and Access Kenya being one, CMC being another. But what is it about Rea Vipingo, an agricultural stock, that makes this so valuable, getting all this attention in the span of a few weeks?
Well, the other takeovers are in largely very niche areas. CMC with its automotive, Access Kenya and ICT. So the people who actually will be knowing what they're doing in those sectors are not as many. However, when you're coming to real estate, which is really, in my opinion, what the various bids are angling at, the 70,000 acres you mentioned, almost any investor who can acquire that land will probably have an idea of what to do with it, and therein lies the inherent value of the whole. Because what I'm trying to say is, in this case, probably the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. So if you can carve out some of that land and develop it differently, other than sisal production or you probably might be able to squeeze to generate more value than there is what is available in the land.
But surely, I mean, the sisal business must have some value. This can't be all about 70,000 acres of land, is it?
Well, again, how much income are you generating from sisal business vis-a-vis? Or what if you convert it to something else that perhaps you think, maybe an industrial park, maybe a golfing ranch, who knows? That really is in the business plan of the guys who are taking over. So therein, that is where the true value lies. Not what is right now, but what could be.
Indeed. We'll revisit that in just a moment, but let's examine the bids in a bit more detail here. Some being financed by debt, which is the case, of course, with Rea Trading's offer, about $8 million worth of that coming in from the Commercial Bank of Africa. But what are the pros and cons of an LBO in a market like Kenya, where credit is, well, for lack of a better word, pretty expensive?
Well, it also depends on the expected annualized return on investment. So if you've got a company that is able to generate the cash flows to pay out the debt, then that might work. And we've seen expansions which have been used where very expensive debt has been used, 15, 16, 17%, they've been able to generate good returns, and that's because perhaps you're talking about return on assets of plus 20%. So it can be done, but that again largely depends on the performance of the investment, or the expected performance of the investment.
Indeed. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there for the time being, but thank you very much for your time as always. Johnson Nderi from ABC Capital there.